Hello guys, here's Cliffs of Dover 4.55. It's an update. Let's check it out. It seems to be running very smoothly and the track IR is working pretty well, perfectly. I'm very impressed so far. Credit where credit's due. I can see I can sense some improvement to the frame rate. It's all very silky smooth. I think they've fixed up something to do with the compatibility with the GTX 1080 Ti. The AI seems a bit smarter as well. I think the AI has improved. Dang. I don't know if you guys can see the frame rate counter, but I'm getting something like 190 frames per second quite often. The frame rate is very impressive. The AI is improved. They've done something to improve the AI. It's more realistic. It's more feisty. Look at that, he's got his flaps down. He's got his flaps deployed. The AI is definitely more sophisticated. ...235 frames per second at the moment. That's pretty bloody good. That's really, really, really good. This is an exceptionally good combat experience as it is right now. They've definitely been doing some good work. Well done, Team Fusion. I can see the improvement. It's really, really impressive. Hello, I'm just looking at the chat. Hello, Siphon House. How's the update? Minor no, and also still sitting on my Piffs of Dover Laurels Tilt 5.0. Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't call this a minor update. It is obviously a minor update, but in terms of I'm getting 140 frames a second right now looking down at that ocean. It's just so incredibly alive and lifelike and realistic. I would call it a minor update that's a grand slam success. It's a complete success. Particularly for me, I run GTX 1080 Ti graphics cards, GPUs, and they've done something to make the Ti more compatible with the game, and so for me that's a grand slam. I used to have problems with the textures and the skin flickering really badly, and that was either from running SLI or it was from running TI in tandem, in other words TI in SLI. And that problem, which I thought was never going to get fixed, has been fixed, and now I'm getting 180 frames a second, and this is Piffs of Dover 4.55, and it's really a joy. it's a joy to fly. It's just amazing. The playability is improved greatly. I can tell that immediately just from playing this for the last 15 minutes or so. That's a good question. What were my frame rates before? So I've got both versions of the game. I've got like the original modded up Team Fusion Cliffs of Dover, and then I've got this one here. And so in the original I was getting no problems with flickering skins, and I was getting up to something like 300 frames per second. Like I was getting crazy frame rates. By comparison, I was getting I don't know, anywhere between, like, you know, something really low like 26 and something pretty high like about 180 with this with Blitz. But by and large, Blitz was not running as fast as the original modded up Cliffs of Dover, whereas what am I getting now? 130 frames per second roughly. It's more of a subjective thing. Like, I'm just looking around me and there's no lag whatsoever. It's just all silky smooth. That could also be something to do with anything else. Like, I've got 165 Hz refresh rate on my monitor, like a turbo boost, and I've got that activated at the moment, so maybe that's why. But well, I don't know, whatever it is, it's working. It's all a bit sort of it's an art and it's a science to get all of this working properly for the, you know, on the part of the developers, and then on the part of us as the end consumers to buy the hardware and software, and cross our fingers and toes and hope that it all works. And you know me, I've not held back from criticising Cliffs of Dover Blitz, and so credit where credit is due. This is a major step forward, particularly in the color and frame rate that I'm subjectively experiencing. It's just, and also objectively, I can see the frame rate counter in the top left-hand corner there. I don't think it's dipped below about 110, and it's been as high as about 200, so it's pretty amazing. Is the DO-17 playable? It's a great looking plane, says Russian Bear. Yeah, that's also a good question. It is a great looking plane. The DO-17, the flying pencil. What is flyable? The answer is no, but gee, it'd be good if it was. I think the flyable bombers in this one are the Ju-88, the Junkers Ju-88, and the Heinkel HE-111. And then on the British side, you've got a few there as well. If you could call the Beaufighter a bomber, you've got that you can fly, the twin-engine heavy fighter. And you've got the Blenheim, the Bristol Blenheim, which is a similar size to the Beaufighter. I think when Tobruk gets released, they're going to make the... Is it a Halifax or a Wellington? They're going to make the Wellington flyable, which will be pretty bloody good. That's a huge aircraft. That's a sort of like the size of a B-25 Mitchell. It's like a medium bomber. Pine Noir says hi. Hi Pine Noir. Hello everyone that's watching and everyone in the chat, in the super chat. This is Cliffs of Dover Blitz version 4.55, and it's pretty bloody good. Tell you what, there's an airfield down there. I'll put it down for a landing, and then I'll try out a Spitfire or a Hurricane or something. They should make the Wellington FW200 and DO17 flyable. Man, that would be pretty bloody cool, wouldn't it? Imagine flying a Condor. Yeah, that would be super awesome. You could do like long-range maritime reconnaissance missions in the Condor, and yeah, that'd be great. I'm trying to remember how to deploy the flaps in this damn thing. If anyone can remember how to deploy the flaps in the 109, maybe write it in the chat in the next 10 seconds before I land. Left wall, cheers for that. Nice, nice. It's interesting, we've got a kind of a combination of clickable cockpit and keyboard commands in Cliffs of Dover. It's pretty good, it works pretty well. Thanks for advising me about the left wall there. I'd completely forgotten that I can click and hold with the mouse button to actuate the flaps. I was madly looking for a keyboard for the flaps. Alright, let's have a look at a different plane, shall we? we're flying a Hurricane in the same mission, so we're versing those Messerschmitt Bf-109s. And there they are, they're much faster than us. Let's see if we can survive at least, and maybe take 1 or 2 or 5 of them out. I just saw 248 frames per second. What? And what's my undercarriage doing? Catch him with this undercarriage half deployed. I might have to start again. Oh, there we go. It is tucked away. It just took a while. He's a lot faster than a Hurricane. I won't be able to catch him is the problem. Looks like he's headed for England. And I'm currently getting around 200 frames per second. It's absolutely buttery smooth. This is nirvana for a flight sim enthusiast to have this perfect frame rate. getting closer. I think he's maybe a few meters closer only. We'll see. Pretty intense, eh? Alright, and I expect my AI wingmen are going to form up on my wing just now, and I'll take her in for a landing somewhere over here. You've got a book that's got all of the controls for the 109E4. Yeah, I tell you what, flight sims get so complex. I find myself jotting down all of the controls on a cheat sheet for like the P47 Thunderbolt and things like that to activate the turbocharger and what have you. I can remember off by heart most of the controls in Cliffs of Dover, but you just saw me forget something basic there, which was the flat laps. I was pressing F, I was pressing Shift F, I was pressing Control F, and nothing. And but not to worry, saved by the clickable cockpit. Flat spin, yeah, it sort of did look like a flat spin momentarily there, didn't it? Yeah, the AI is kind of a thing, isn't it? Like in any sim, like DCS, Cliffs of Dover, Great Battles, always we're looking to get better performance out of the AI. It wasn't really demonstrated in that dogfight because it wasn't a dogfight. It was just shooting down a 109 that was flying straight and level with its rudder locked, full control deflection to the left for some strange reason, which is a feature of Cliffs of Dover. I don't know why it does that, but I did see some pretty good examples of the AI being quite intelligent when I was playing this just before I went live stream. I mean, that's pretty good right there, how I've got that Hurricane on my wing there and those guys there. That's a good example of good AI, in my opinion. The only thing is when I go in and land, they don't land, they just hover, they just circle around. So that's right, the AI is one area of flight sims in general that's got a long way to go. One thing I really dislike about DCS World War II AI is that all you get with the dogfighting AI is circles, like loops, giant loops, these kind of, what would you call it? You'd almost call it like a great circle. Like when you're dogfighting a 109 or something, or a Mustang or whatever, Spitfire, it doesn't matter, they'll just do these giant vertical great circles, these giant loop-the-loops, and that's all they do. That's like the most retarded AI that I've ever encountered, and it's really annoying. So AI, yeah, it's one thing that could be improved. Let's find an airfield and let's land. I see it dead ahead. And there's Miss Piggy in the cockpit there. She's my e-girlfriend. She's my waifu. However, I'm looking to upgrade. So if anyone's got any suggestions, let me know in the chat who my replacement for Miss Piggy should be in due course. I'm thinking Paris Hilton at this stage, but I'm undecided. Let me know what you think in the comments below. The South Park rendition. Nah, it's got to be at least somewhat hot. At least somewhat feminine. Man, that was quite an episode of South Park. I don't know. I've gotten used to Piggy. Might just keep it unchanged for the time being. So anyways, guys, that is an update. I just by random kind of boredom, I guess, I checked the Team Fusion YouTube channel and I saw that they'd posted a video 19 hours ago and had a look at that. It was only a 2.5 minute video, but it was a pretty good video, and they said that they'd updated to 4.55. They showed some pictures of some footage actually of the Duotone D520 in combat in both French and German livery, and it looked excellent, and I really can't wait to fly it. I asked them to hurry up and release it so I can fly it. I have been, you guys that have been following my channel for a while, you might know I made a cinematic video called Vanquished about a year ago. Vanquished. It goes for about an hour, and it's not really that well known, and I think it's only got about like 5,000 views on it or something like that. But anyways, it's highly produced, and it took me ages to make it. Vanquished is supposed to be set in North Africa in the early years of the war, and of course there's no North Africa map in IL-2 Sturmovik, so I had to use the Stalingrad map. So it doesn't really, you sort of have to use your imagination. It doesn't really look that authentic, but the planes do have the North Africa skin. Anyways, long story short, now that DCS has some desert maps, and I don't own the Nevada map, but I do own the Persian Gulf map, I was thinking of making a sequel to Vanquished using the DCS desert map and the DCS BF 109K4 and the DCS Spitfire Mark 9 to make Vanquished again. However, I gave it a shot today. Like I tried using DCS today, and I just got reminded of all of the non-functionalities with DCS, such as that the track recorder just really is non-functional. It just does not work. I mean, it works, but then it does stupid stuff, which make it about probably 65% functional, and that's if you jump through all of the hoops. So you'll note that I don't make too many cinematic movies using DCS. It's for the simple reason that it's broken, the track recorder's broken, so it's very hard to make any kind of movie without getting so frustrated to the point of pulling your hair out, because the track record just doesn't work. That coupled with the fact that the 109K is a plane from about 1945, and we're talking about an era in North Africa that's like, I don't know, my history is not that good. I think it was like 1941, like just maybe early 1942, just after the Battle of Britain, and then shifted focus to North Africa. Tobruk, El Alamein, all of those kind of place names are familiar to this story. So anyways, Cliffs of Dover comes to mind for making Tobruk. Cliffs of Dover Tobruk comes to mind for making Vanquished Part 2. So, and that might make it a more coherent kind of a cinematic movie, because the first Vanquished, although I encourage you to check it out if you go to my channel, if you go to the videos, if you type, I know, I appreciate it's hard to spell Vanquished, but if you type in Vanquished and you go and have a look at that movie, it's really bloody good, except for the fact that it does not look like it's set in North Africa. But apart from that, it's a phenomenal cinematic movie, one of my best, I think. And I'm pretty much got my heart set on making it again in an actual North African setting, and that, I mean, that brings into mind Cliffs of Dover Tobruk, because that is in a North Africa setting and it is using all of the period correct aircraft. So it's bloody well perfect, and I made Vanquished before that was even on the drawing board with Team Fusion simulations. So yeah, Team Fusion, please hurry up and release the North Africa map, so that please hurry up and release Team Fusion 5.0, so that I can get stuck into Vanquished Part 2 and play around in this wonderful sim. Siphon House says, I'd check radio commands. I thought you could get the wingmen down. Yeah, that's probably a really simple thing that I just need to look into. I know in Sturmovik there's a whole bunch of commands. One of them is return to base, but then when I do return to base, I think they come into land, but they land one at a time, and the wingmen insist, this is an example of AI being stupid. The wingmen insist on each of them doing their own individual circuit, and you can only have one plane on the runway at a time. If there's one plane still on the runway that's still kind of taxiing off the runway, then the plane that's on final approach will not land. It'll initiate a go round, and it'll spend another 10 minutes doing a circuit. So you end up with, say, 5 wingmen taking about 35 minutes to land, instead of them all just coming in en masse. So that's another thing that the AI could be improved upon. And there's, we all know there's many thousands of things that the AI could be improved upon. That's pretty much going to do it for now. I think I was just pretty excited to have a go at this. It's a visceral improvement. Obviously the subjective is just as important as the objective, and subjectively, I mean, it's just silky smooth. On my system, it's never run this smoothly. This is just insanely good. Another small thing is that usually I have to calibrate track IR. Usually it takes me about 5 minutes to set up track IR, and by that time the mission is well underway, so I usually have to restart and do the mission again once track IR is kind of calibrated. I didn't need to do that at all today. Not saying that that's a result of anything that's been done to improve, but again, that's a subjective impression that I get. Track IR is working well, frame rate's silky smooth, there's no flickering of the skin, and the colour is rich and it's really good. And although it wasn't demonstrated in this flight, just before I switched on the live stream, I did see some good examples of the AI doing smart things. So there you go. Yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't, become a subscriber and visit my website, which is froggyfrog9000.com. I've also got a whole bunch of t-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and jumpers on Amazon of aircraft related topics. I'm always adding to that. Check that out too. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, please smash the thumbs up, smash the like button. I'm going to be back tomorrow with a Frog radio to discuss all of my takeaway points and my conclusion about Team Fusion 4.55 update, and the latest developer diary from IL2 Sturmovik. There's one that's just been released, and anything else that tickles me fancy. I've been Froggy Frog 9000. Cheers, Siphon House. I'll catch you later. Thanks everyone for watching, and bye for now.